town of Pompton Lakes is one of the prettiest in New Jersey, but the residents of 450 homes here say that they have been contaminated by an old Dupont plant, and now they want them to clean this lake up.
The groundwater in the town is poisoned with what are called volatile organic chemicals.
The weary residents of Pompton Lake say pollutants from a Dupont weapons plant has left residents sick and dying, and they're unable to leave. And they say neither the multi-billion-dollar company nor the federal government have done enough to help them.
They cannot sell their homes. They cannot get mortgages. We have notes from banks saying they've been denied because of the contamination issues here.
Former Councilman Ed Meekum and Lisa Regiola are residents dedicated to Citizens for a Clean Pompton Lakes.
We're not people with a lot of money that can just up and leave our homes. In many cases, this is all we have.
Their fight with the corporate giant and governmental bureaucracy has brought about some change, but they say not nearly enough.
What we need is the EPA to come in and rope this entire cleanup process into one whole cleanup.
In a statement, the Environmental Protection Agency says they are, quote, strongly committed to cleaning up the site quickly, using the best methods available and having Dupont fund every element of this cleanup, end quote. But residents say that does little to mitigate their losses. This is where you live. This is where your wife passed away.
My wife passed away from cancer. She had brain cancer, lung cancer. Spread throughout her body. She found out in May, and she passed away the following year, following August.
I can't comment to people's individual situations as far as health concerns.
Bob Nelson is a Dupont spokesman. We had people pointing, that house cancer, my wife cancer. That's more than just a report. That is a fact that's what's happening outside the fence of your plant.
There's a 2011 study that will show that interprets the data in a different way, and I can't speak to it, but it's there.
Strategically located in a valley, in the event of a catastrophic explosion, the Pompton Lakes Works is a virtual wasteland. Vast slabs of concrete represent the bones of manufacturing plants where for 92 years bombs were built for 20th century warfare. The chemicals were dumped off into the ground, into the water, and so you're now dealing with 25 years later almost the effects of those chemicals in the ground.
Well, what happened traditionally back in those times is there were processes that we now know would not have been used.
For nearly a century, carcinogens like lead and mercury polluted the land and migrated into underground aquifers that fed the community around it for years to come. Now, Dupont claims that they've put in systems, they've done tests, they've put in vapor mitigation systems and filters. What say you?
Well, very interesting. That's a Band-Aid, and it does safeguard our residents, but we're getting readings outside of our homes of benzene and methylene chloride, even with the systems on them.
So, Bob, this is the pumping station. This is where the water is drawn up out of the ground, filtered, and then sent back into the community.
That is correct.
What kind of contaminants are we talking?
Well, we're talking about TEC and PEC, which are two volatile organic compounds that are removed. There are also some other constituents that we're remediating.
They say they treat it and they pump it underneath our homes. 3 billion gallons of water. 3 billion in the last 17 years went underneath our homes. That's why this lake is contaminated.
Residents again told me that they consider this the pump and dump station. In other words, the water's being drawn out, but it's still polluted when it goes into their community.
That's not true. These types of systems are designed to remove contaminated constituents from the water that then is reintroduced into the aquifer as clean water.
DuPont can say whatever they want, but you know what? For 100 years, all right, decades, they made ammunitions for the government. We can't get the real answers. Maybe you guys can get the right answers.
DuPont says they have a plan in place to dredge up to 99% of the mercury in an area they call the Delta of Pompton Lake and have sent it to the EPA for approval, but gave no timeline on that project. Affected residents, many of whom are elderly, say time for them is running out.